good time to say something nice. So let me pick up just one relatively minor thought that I hope differs a little from other things that people have already said, so that I'm not repetitive. We're a strange bunch of people here in many ways today, and I'm thrilled that so many of us were able to turn out. But we come here to this place for a variety of different reasons. I personally am a great fan of the fish fries. Convinced the American bishops have no idea what they are doing, because fish on Fridays is what I look forward to most in Lent, and it's no punishment at all. And it's great fun to come here and do this. So many of us come here for the fish fries. Some of us come here to worship. Some of us come here because we don't get on with our pastors. There's a variety of different reasons why we might come here. But of course, it's not a parish. Its existence is for a different purpose, and we're not kind of the same community that a parish would normally be. One of the things that struck me and was important to me in the days when Father Joe was in charge of this particular location was his concern to try and nurture the group of people that comes here as a religious community. I've been coming here on and off for many years, since before Father Joe was here, and he and I can promise you, have looked at life together many times from the bottom of empty brandy bottles. But the thing that first got me to know Father Joseph as an individual, and he to know me, was when he chose to organize spirituality days on Saturdays in Lent, when he first took over running this house here. And I was thrilled to have the opportunity to do that, and I was glad to have spiritual reasons for associating myself with the community here, and not just liturgical reasons. So, as well as a great friend to empty the bottle with, Father Joe, as you all know, has been a very spiritual friend, and it's been a delight to have him amongst us, and we're all, I know, very sad to hear him go. So I was asked to read to you this letter. I thought at first, when Mickey asked me if I would read it, that he asked me because, after all, short people should stick together. But it turns out not. It turns out because apparently British men have no emotions. You saw Mickey take this letter out of his pocket, and I haven't seen it, and I've no idea what it says, so I'm desperately hoping that the author punctuates well, because I have no idea what's coming up in these sentences. It's dated January the 6th, 2010, the Feast of the Epiphany. Hi Mickey, hi Helen. I am sorry that we will not be able to attend this Sunday's event in person. I was concerned about a 4-hour-long afternoon for the boys, and as it turns out, we are already engaged at a friend's 6-year birthday party. I have to look at my refrigerator more often. Invitation was there with a magnet for weeks. The little boy having the birthday is the son of a dear friend of mine, who also lost her husband to illness when her son was only 1 year old. We try to support each other in these events. They are not easy to do alone. Would you be kind enough to have someone read the following remarks on our behalf at Father Joseph's party on Sunday, the 10th of January? I have conveyed all these thoughts to him personally in the past, but would very much like to share our experiences of his great kindness with our family, with the group. On the first occasion, 6 years ago, Mark, myself, and my parents were attending the annual Knights of Columbus members' breakfast at Consolata, with infant baby Angelo on my lap during the Mass. The baby started fussing, crying, getting louder and louder, and Mark was getting a bit nervous that the baby would disrupt the service, so started whispering frantically to me, "Take him out! Take him out!" As I stood up and started heading for the main lobby with Angelo in my arms, I heard Father Joseph's voice boom out, "Don't go!" I stopped in my tracks. Was he talking to me? I turned around, and the whole congregation had turned to look at me and the baby, just what I was trying to avoid. But Father repeated, "Don't go. We need the sounds of children here. They are our future. When we don't hear the sounds of children here anymore, that's when we are in trouble. Please stay." I sat back down immediately and felt so relieved for the rest of the Mass and for all the future years that we attended this special annual event with our 2 young children along. Mark and I were so grateful for Father's kindness and understanding at that moment, and so appreciated that he genuinely welcomed even a noisy infant and made it so known to the entire group. Mark and I talked about that episode so affectionately for years afterwards, always holding Father up as an example of how a priest can choose to do something like that for a family and for a congregation. All through the remaining years, Mark, my parents, and I enjoyed Father's company and great humor at the Consolata events. He was so approachable, so genuine. He really made us feel welcome. Many years later, Mark and I now found ourselves in an entirely different situation, as Mark had become terribly ill with an incurable medical condition, FTD-ALS, a type of Lou Gehrig's disease. When Mark became hospitalized, my first thought was how comforting it would be for me and Mark to have Father come visit Mark at the hospital. I contacted Mickey to help me make these arrangements, and immediately Father appeared at Mark's bedside, leaving me a personal note and his cell phone number. That was the first time of many I used it during Mark's illness. When Mark finally came home for hospice care after 3 months in the hospital, I again contacted Father, and as Mark was nearing the end of his life, Father graciously took us through the hard moments of last rites, giving me, and I am sure Mark, great comfort at a time we could never have imagined. I am crying now as I write this, as Father was always so easy to talk to and answered my questions about last rites and came to our home late at night when I was so scared and heartbroken, and Mark and I really needed him. On July the 4th, 2009, Mark passed away. As I was now finding my way through wakes and funeral masses, once again I was able to turn to Father Joseph, who was my first thought as the priest with whom I would be most comfortable working and speaking for Mark. He most graciously accepted to co-celebrate for Mark and arranged many details for us, ensuring that everything would go smoothly, and it all did. One thing Mark and Father Joseph always had in common, a bond between the two of them, was that they were both fluent in Italian. As a final, most appropriate touch, as we laid Mark to rest at St. Peter's Cemetery, Father bestowed a prayer over Mark, beautifully spoken in Italian. Thank you, Father Joseph, always, for being such an important part of the Bottean family journeys. Mary Bottean.